some questions like, did I do the right thing? Or, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know anybody here.
Right.
So, yeah.
How have you, in the past, met people that you connect with?
Wow. I don't know. I mean, I didn't have a lot of friends in Chicago. I mean, I've never really had a lot of friends.
Right.
So usually, well, the two friends I have are from middle school that I'm still friends with. I mean, I guess sometimes at work, I meet people. You get to know people at work, and sometimes they might invite you out to have dinner after work or something like that. I guess I've done that before, something like that. Yeah.
Have you done that out here? Gone out to
No.
dinner? Or?
No. I mean, when I first got here, the university had an event for the new employees, and so they took us on a tour of the city so we could sort of see the different neighborhoods and sort of get a little understanding of the history and the layout. And so I got a chance to see the city a little bit, and then also to get a sense of, how many people are new at the job.
Right.
I haven't really seen those people, I don't think, since I started, but because they're not in my department. But I'm not sure. What was your question? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Is that something that you're able to connect with those employees that are kind of newer like you? Or?
I haven't really. I don't know. I mean, I guess we were given like a contact sheet.
Okay.
But I'm not really very good at reaching out like that. I'm not used to doing that. I mean, if somebody reaches out to me, I'm usually pretty friendly, but I'm not used
well, yeah, and I heard you say something about not knowing, what people are like out here. And have you ever heard about the Seattle Freeze?
I heard somebody talking about that, but they weren't talking to me. I sort of overheard that.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, because I, like you, I'm not from this area, so I kind of I think I know what you're talking about, where you just don't get a sense of where people are coming from. If you might have a conversation with someone and you think it's great, and then they might not ever talk to you again, and you kind of think, well, geez, what happened? I thought we were doing well. And I think it's just something where there's this kind of polite, but maybe a wall, and you don't really get deeper into connections. So something that I've found and something I've heard is just through work, and just if there is some kind of invitation, maybe even begrudgingly going just to see what happens. But
so are you saying it's harder to get to know people out here than other places?
I think so. I mean, I guess I just hear what you're saying about you can't get a sense of the people, and I really think that that's a common thing out here. Yeah, I don't think it's just you. I think there is something there, and you picked up on it. But I do think that it's something that goes away, and it just I think that might take time.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of other things that might be helpful for you, and I ask you just because you're the expert at being Cecily. And it sounds like you really want to get back to where you were, and that energy and the active piece is kind of what makes you happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. I wish I knew.
And did you say that you are able to exercise?
I really haven't been able to. I just, I don't know why, but I just haven't been able to get started out here.
So you get off, I'm sorry. You get off work, you said kind of early. What time do you get off about?
About 2:30.
2:30, and then do you take the bus or?
I take the bus sometimes, or I drive. I probably could walk. I think it would would take me about an hour to get home if I walked, and I certainly could ride my bike. I mean, there's a path and everything, so I know I could ride my bike, and that would probably take me about a half an hour.
Did you bring your bike out here?
I did,
Okay.
yeah.
How'd you get all the way out here? Did you?
I didn't bring a lot of stuff with me,
Mhm.
so I just packed up my car.
Okay.
Yeah, I sold my furniture, so I bought a few things when I got here. So I drove out by myself.
Yeah. Wow.
It's
I
a long
really
drive.
admire that. That's a long drive and getting rid of stuff. How did that feel? Packing yourself up into your car.
Felt good.
Yeah.
Felt like I can do this. This is small and manageable,
Mhm.
and I don't have all this stuff that I have to think about because it's been sold.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah. I can really appreciate that. Just starting. Sounds like you're starting fresh.
That's yeah. Well, that's what I thought.
Mhm.
Now I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah.
Well, we're kind of nearing the end of the session.
Okay.
I appreciate everything you've shared with me, and if you'd like to, I'd like to set up another time for you to come in. Maybe we can talk a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay. So what works for you? What's a good time?
This is a good time.
Okay. So
Yeah.
weekend time.
Yeah.
Around this
Mhm.
noonish time. Okay. And is there anything that might be helpful for you? What about maybe me bringing some information about the hiking groups? Is that something you'd be interested
okay.
in looking at?
Sure.
We could look at it together.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there anything else you hope to get out of maybe our next session so I can prepare and?
Maybe just trying to keep figuring out what's going on.
Okay. I can definitely help you with that. And
Okay.
I'd love to talk more with you.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks again for coming in. It's really nice to meet you.
You too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's going to be it.
Uh-huh.
Done.
That's it.
Okay.
How you feeling?
So, gosh, that's really hard. That's, you were really good. Not given a whole lot. I was thinking, gosh, I feel like I even cut it early. Like, I don't know what else to say.
Oh. Yeah. Well,
How do you feel?
I feel good. I mean, I feel like you're talking to somebody who is kind of shy and withdrawn and is
Mhm.
not very happy right now. And,
Right.
there's a lot going on there. I'm just wondering, like, what are you feeling? And you're sort of frowning your face a little bit there.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm feeling like I didn't really get a lot of information, and that the information that you were giving to me, I didn't go with it anywhere. Like you were offering things. I was thinking, gosh, is there something that made her move? Like, and I was trying to get into that a little bit more. And
Uh-huh.
I really felt like I was having you repeat some of the things that you had already said.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering, I wonder if she's just feeling kind of bored here talking to me, because I didn't feel like I was able to engage with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that I think you were very warm,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that you can go ahead and just ask me. Did you have a relationship back there, or tell me about your parents? What was their relationship like?
Mm.
You can ask about family stuff because that can always be very interesting,
Yeah,
informative.
right.
Maybe ask about why I didn't have friends or that kind of thing.
Mm.
You did pick some stuff, like I thought you did some really great things, like you asked me about, can you tell me about a time when you did feel like yourself, or talking about like some successes and things.
Mhm.
That was great. Yeah.
That's such a good point, though. I felt almost afraid to go directly to you and say,
I understand
what
that.
is the and so
Wait, say that again. Like, what is the problem?
what there were a lot of things that I was thinking about, but I was
Like what?
afraid to
Yeah.
dig deeper, like
Yeah.
the relationship with the sister and the feeling like, why are you shy? Why don't you like to engage with other people?
Yeah.
And what I was really kind of fixated, I think, on why did this person move from Chicago, and
Uh-huh.
I also didn't know how old you were, and so I wasn't sure.
You can ask me that too.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
so it's great feedback that I
Mhm.
could have just asked you
Yeah.
directly.
And you can follow your curiosity because
Mm.
you know all those things that you're thinking, and when you're practicing with us, it's a good time to do it too. Because if it seems like too much questioning, you know, we can tell you later, and you know, and that way you'll know to sort of balance it out when you're talking to people. So.
Did you feel like you wanted me to ask you more? Like,
I think that I wanted you. I think that my biggest note would be that I wanted you to take me a little more seriously. I felt like sometimes you were laughing to sort of, maybe you were just nervous, and that's how it comes out. You know, everybody does something a little different.
oh,
You know?
right.
But it felt to me like, why is she laughing? Like, I'm not happy right now,
Oh.
and I think you were just trying to, you know, make it
Relate
nice
and- yeah.
relate, and I think you can relate, and you can just say, you know, that sounds really hard,
Uh-huh.
you know, or to actually stay with the client where they're at. I don't mean you need to get depressed, but I mean, you know, to just
Match your
honor, like,
Oh, yeah.
that must have really hurt. Or you know, like, what was it like to have a sister who got recognition from your parents and so on and so on? And, you know, I mean, to really sort of plant yourself a little bit, not, you know, to be afraid, but say it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it sounds
Yeah.
like your hunches are like,
Right.
you know, you're already, but let me do the work, you know, like maybe ask a question, and you can also let there be some silence.
Yeah.
Like if I'm having trouble answering a question, you don't need to, and that's a really hard thing to learn, I think. But once you start getting used to it, it's not as hard. But I think to sort of
Absolutely.
let there be some silence there,
Mhm.
let them be confused, because also that silence will work on the client. You know, I mean, I don't mean it has to be excruciating, but let there be some
Well, yeah.
silence.
Absolutely, I hear what you're saying, because I don't really let a lot of silence happen in my life. So you're dead on. I think you're picking up on some of my things that I could see those things. So laughing, gosh, and you know, it's so funny to think about how that might come across to me as like, oh, we're good and we're building rapport, and then for someone who's in that place, feels like you're laughing.
It
Like,
feels a
this
little
is
superficial
inappropriate.
from this side. Yeah, like why is she like giggling and laughing? I'm not giggling and laughing.
True.
You know, and it feels a little bit like you're not taking me seriously. And boy, this is a person who needs to be heard. You know, and I think even just saying things like that, like I'm really hearing you. This is really concerning you.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like it's what you're thinking about all the time, or I don't know. I don't know if you want to say that, but
Right.
and I do think that the summarizing you do a good job of summarizing, and I would continue to do the summarizing. Like,
Okay.
well, let me see if I've got this right. You know, da 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 da.
Mhm.
Does that seem okay? And
Okay.
da 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 da. Does that seem? And then reflecting back, like, you know, I'm feeling from you, right? You know, I'm feeling a lot of sadness, or I'm feeling some regret, or whatever it is you're feeling.
Yeah.
And is that right? And if she says yes, you know, you can say, can you tell me a little more about that? Where is that coming from? Or
How do you know so much about this? Gosh, I'm learning a lot. This is so helpful. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Have you been doing this for a while? Or?
I've done this. I'm getting my second master's right now, and I'm getting it in clinical mental health counseling.
Okay, so you're a good person to
So
ask.
I understand what you're going through right now.
Oh gosh.
I totally
Okay.
understand, because
Wow.
we're doing some of the same things,
Uh-huh.
definitely. And the one thing, you know, I think as this person over here, I don't know if I would go into that whole Seattle freeze thing,
Oh.
because I don't know if that's the thing the person needs to hear right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, oh my God, why did I move here? Because frankly, when I
Oh.
moved here, and I didn't hear about that till I moved here, and I was like, well, why didn't anybody tell me before I got here?
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like, hello. I don't think it would have changed my mind, but it is a weird thing to hear. You know, you're like, what?
Oh God.
So that's why these people
trying to comfort her, and it's just like, oh my gosh.
Well, actually, the people here, they are really cold.
Yeah.
So don't worry, it's not you.
Gosh, but you made the good choice of moving out here. Everybody's cold. Yeah, I totally hear that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably say something like, well, it is hard to meet people when you come to a new place, and they can seem cold or non-committal, but that's part of being new. Because I think it is actually part of being new, and I don't know how much truth there is to the Seattle freeze. I mean, I think there is truth to it, but I think people can be really non-committal anywhere. Like they can be super friendly and then like not call you, not follow up, And I don't know if that's sometimes because they think you're new and they don't want to get too involved because they don't want to be like the only person you. I don't know what, but.
Can I ask? Did you feel like I was at all condescending, or like we weren't peers or together?
I only felt that in the sense that I felt like you were very, very friendly and were trying to level the playing ground. I think with the laughing stuff, though, it felt like you were at a distance. Like you were sort of, in a way, judging the relationship because you're sort of making these decisions about, it felt like you were making decisions like, oh, yeah, I know, like,
wow, okay.
It just, and I'm exaggerating, but it does feel a little bit like, oh, poo-poo, a little poo-pooing with the laughing. And I know you didn't mean it that way. And that's why it's good we're doing this now.
Totally good we're doing this now.
Yeah. And we all have our things that we do when we're nervous. And a lot of us do laugh. We laugh. It's like part of, it's just what we do, Yeah.
What's funny too is that I felt like, oh, I got this, coming in. Actually, right before I came in, I was really nervous, but this is something that I talk to a lot of people, and it's just really natural.
Yeah, you've got a lovely natural way about you with this for sure. Yeah, you're natural. I mean, I think you're gonna be great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think it's
you're very present.
I think it's the like I was on my way here kind of like prepping, like reading all these different things. One of those things was humor. So then I would try to go there. It's like that. I probably shouldn't have prepped on the bus right here because then I was not being natural. But some of those things I think it's a gift to hear these things. It's really awkward for me to hear them. I feel kind of like, whoa. But I think that's natural. I don't think most people would just have this like ability to tell someone else like, this is how I felt when you did this, and I really appreciate you being so honest with me. It's a gift.
Welcome.
Truly.
You're welcome. And yeah, humor's great. Humor, don't like throw that out the window. I think it's just you got to feel it out. Yeah, you got to feel it out. And this is the first meeting, and it's so important to build that rapport. The alliance, the therapeutic alliance is so important. So,
what about me coming in? So I had this thought of shaking your hand, and I didn't know, so I started overthinking this on my way here too. Like maybe someone doesn't want to be touched, And so, what did you think about that whole moment of, hi, what's your name? And I felt a little weird to me.
To me, that's something you'll just have to figure out. Like, do you want to shake the?
I did.
That yeah. So try it. Try it. I think the most important part of that is to really take your time at the beginning, and tell me a little bit about yourself. The confidentiality stuff. Is that okay with you? And ask me my name, and let it be. Let us get settled in our chairs a little bit. You might want to talk a little bit about how you like to work, and then move into it. And I say that because in those first few moments, that's when some of the most important connecting is happening. So much happens in those few moments. So, I don't know. I mean, you could shake my hand or not. I mean, you could just come in and just be like, hi, I'm really nice to meet you. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you for coming in. That's sort of like shaking somebody's hand.
True. Yeah.
You did kind of jump right in. Like I think you sat down and you said, so tell me why you're here today. So, and I know you were trying to like cover your points too. So that's going on in your head.
But did it feel like that to you? I mean, that's important to know if a person coming in feels like, wow, she's really, trying to get.
It felt like that a little bit,
Or
like you were rushed.
And then I realized I could have slowed down. I totally noticed that within 5 minutes, like, oh my gosh, we're already in the middle of it.
And it's amazing how much you can. It's amazing how much you can get in the time.
Yeah,
even
I
with
could
that,
have eased into
even with
it.
that little easing into it. Yeah.
I can see all these things sound like they're not far off from my perception of some of my just kind of personality traits. Really quick, kind of blunt. When I meet with clients at work, I usually have some type of thing, but there's usually a court order involved, so it's less like this, just kind of all over the place. That's kind of overwhelming to me. Where to go? Usually with my clients that I work with right now, they have a set path that they need to take, and I help them go through that.
Right. So it's much more
structured,
prescriptive, or whatever you call it.
Anything else before I let it go?
I think when in doubt, just summarize.
Okay.
Because that gives you some time to think about it. You can always ask about my parents' relationship, because I can offer some more information about that.
Gosh, I was so tentative with asking you more to pry deeper. I was afraid to scare you away. And in doing so, I wondered if you would even come back. Like, well, that was a waste of time. Like, we barely even talk,
Yeah, but you can always say at the beginning, I'm probably going to ask you, I want to know why you're here today, but I'm probably going to ask you some questions also about your family.
That's a great idea.
And your background.
Right.
Because the more I know about you, the more we can work together as a team or something like that.
Gosh, good idea.
Yeah. Well, you probably would have, it's just practice. And this is your first time doing this kind of interview,
Yeah.
How long have you been doing the stuff with the
So I work.
court?
I work with the department, and that's been since September. Before that, I was in social service, but not directly asking someone what they need and going through this type. This is totally. It feels brand new, and the camera in this setting is like.
Oh yeah.
Gosh.
But you've got a big you got a big move on a lot of people though, because you've been working with people and trying to help them. Maybe it's not as open-ended as this, but
it's really helpful though, because I meet with people, that are in a really dark time in their lives, and now I'm going to realize I might rush them. I might laugh and make them feel like I'm laughing at them. Like, this is so helpful to me. It really, and it's settling in now. I'm kind of more used to hearing this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is an amazing experience for me. I just really
good.
appreciate it. I don't know if,
Where are you from
I'm from Connecticut.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
you're East Coast.
East Coast.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah. So I kept trying to think too, like, forget about this experience and just see you as this person. Forget that you're acting like this Cecily person or whatever. And are you from Chicago?
I am.